I'm Silvia Ribeiro. I work with ETC Group, which is a small international research collective that works on the impact of new technologies on peoples and communities, and I am based in Mexico City. All these ways of acting of corporation is also based on the present gender inequality in the world, and is reproducing it and increasing it. And this is not only through who control the technologies, but it's not only like having more, for instance, more women. It's just that they are also making more invisible the contribution of women's. For instance, women's are the main contributors of creating biodiversity in seeds, but also one of the main caretakers of the diversity in forests, even in fisheries. And all this gets even more invisible in this world, in this digital world, where you get this picture. Food can be traced from where it was produced to where it is consumed, that it can trace it in a virtual way by a digital technology. And they want us to believe that this is something that puts the consumer closer to the producer, and it's the opposite. It's like it's totally invisible, and it could be even invented. I mean, you can say that someone was produced in Thailand and then it was consumed in Mexico, and you can see maybe where this chain of production went, but you don't know anything about how it was produced, who did it. This also make more invisible the contribution of women and all that women has been doing with seeds, with biodiversity, with food, because it was women who invented agriculture. It was women who invented that we could plant seeds, and so it was a collective creation of women. And very far from there to today, it seems that it's a machine that can tell us that somewhere it was done something. So it's one of the ways where this gender inequality is again reproduced. And this is again reproduced by many other technologies. These new technologies, not only the technologies in itself and the risks they have, like in geoengineering, in food and agriculture, but also how the technologies are being used, like digital technologies in agriculture, digital technologies for everything, as we have today, how that influences us, but also how this interacts, strengthen the power links that are already unfair, unjust, and that they serve to continue increasing inequity in the world. And that is reflected both in food and agriculture, in climate fault solutions, and in many other parts. And what I think is important for movements is take a moment to reflect about which technologies and how technologies influence in our life. Because there is this tendency, for instance, to believe that digital technologies are something that is good because we all want internet, we all want to have phones and all that. But we don't have a real reflection. We have a real reflection, but we need a deeper reflection on how this impact our life, how this, instead of making communities function better, does fragment us, isolate us. And we know less and less, and how this is decided, how this is produced, who did it, if it was women, if it was young people, if it was how different ages are involved in all this. We know less and less, and more is virtual and could be even not a reality. We need to reflect on this and see how we can see which technologies we want to have, but also which is the cost, the environmental, the social, the economic cost of these technologies, and if they are really making our lives better, or on the contrary, they are making our lives more alienated, more separated from each other. I think it's very important that movements look at these new technologies, and particularly digital technologies, and how they are influencing our lives, and which parts of technologies we may think we want to have, but in reality they have a lot of negative impacts. Like, for instance, in fragmentation, in isolation, in giving our data to corporations that then can control us. We live in this moment in the world where techno fixes, these technological illusions that everything could be solved via technology is extremely dangerous, because technologies also, this technological optimism about that everything will be solved with technologies also produce some kind of amnesia, that you don't know what caused something because technology will solve it in the future. And that is being all the time promoted by corporations as, we will have a technology that will solve climate, we will have a technology that will produce more food, we will have a technology that will cool down the earth, instead of really doing something about it. And that perpetuates an unfair system and injustice in the world. And because of that, we really need to question this technological optimism and recuperate the ways we want to organize in communities, face-to-face, indirect relationships that are the basis of any change we want to do.